than 5 years, actually.
Yeah. I was rooming with Honorable Ken Oforiata.
I see.
To make sure that our financial issues are okay. And I also decided to walk into the studio from the beginning of December because the event coming out in December needs me more. And then, I've been also nominated for the first time in Ghana for an award. I feel this is actually the first time somebody has seen part of the work I do. So our TP award, you have to talk about it every second, every minute, because you're all part of the reason why.
Of course.
I've done. I've done TV and radio I've done radio. I did GBC2 earlier, but I think that I became very stronger after graduation in 2004. So how many years now since I've been on TV? And I've been a counselor that nobody has come to replace me. And nobody can replace me. The rest are still learning. I just got seated. And they're writing notes. And most of them thought I was not coming back to TV Africa. So I've fooled all of you. Those of you who are writing, finally you've left TV Africa. This seat, you can't sit inside. You know what I'm talking about. and I am back. And I'll be here. And whatever you think, keep thinking. I just have a sad news. When I heard the demands of Echo Black saying, I was down. And it's one of the biggest bombshell that keeps me thinking that we can't be too careful to be careful for ourselves. But we need to live well and live good. Echo Black saying it's not because he's dead that people say we are talking about him. But we all know. I mean, he's down to earth. He's those big sexy eyes will still tell you what he wants to tell you. But if he wants to be supportive, he will be. May he so rest in perfect peace. I've not gotten the courage yet to talk to the wife. Ever since that thing happened, I'm still managing myself. It's not easy. And then when I had Uncle Ato's wife to go, but, I mean, it puts me. I've said it before that the shortest thing on earth is not life; it's death.
Yes.
The shortest thing on earth is not life; it's death. Life is not short. Death is short. Within seconds, you're gone. And the only time people will want to help you is when the shortest moment comes, which is death. Right. So if there's anything you want to do it well to avoid death. I mean, they are avoidable death. There are things that you can do to avoid some particular insane process of death. And one of them is why we are in the month of 1st December. And from where I came from, we say December 1st. 1st December has been the worldwide HIV AIDS and HIV Awareness Day. And I think is it 2000? Yeah, in 2000, I was trained and given the license to be the HIV counselor till today. Right. So I am one person who organizes every year, 1st December, I do awareness creation. So when it hits me today, the first thing I want to tell everybody is that know your status. Please, don't think that HIV AIDS is not there. I meet people, I mean, those times when I was very involved in the testing, the VCT, voluntary counseling and testing, I'm still involved, but not too much like those days. Right. People will come and they are shocked, they are negative. No, they are shocked because they have not really taken serious care of their lives. Right. So all of a sudden, when they realize they are negative, they themselves, they are surprised. And some will even want to question if the equipment is truly correct. Yeah. And some want to repeat the test again for them to be sure. Don't get to a stage where you are surprised you are negative. But get to a stage where you encourage the next party around you to be negative. Voluntary counseling and testing has been solid. And thanks to, I'm coming to start a very loud noise on a very simple kit that have come right now. Right. Thanks to DKT, they brought a very simple one that by your own self, you can start knowing your status too. Right. I mean, yes, very, very simple and it's good. But I'm telling you, if you're watching me today, when it comes to HIV/AIDS, it's true that there have been a lot of scientific talk about sex doesn't bring HIV/AIDS. No, let me tell you the truth. If you have sexual intercourse without bruises, you will not be infected with HIV/AIDS from the partner. Keep the truth. I see. Yes. Without that is why most people are shocked that the last girl they had sex with was diagnosed positive, but they are negative. And they go like, how? No. When it comes to STD, when it comes to transmitting HIV through sex, because it's blood related, it ends up that when you have bruises from the other side, then you can have it. So the virus lives in blood. Let's be honest with that. However, we would not encourage you to take risk. Because there are many times that you finish having sexual intercourse, and with no fault of yours, you can see that there are some burning sensation on your male organ, or the woman will be looking at, not because she was dry, but she finds herself in that state. So you don't know when bruises will meet you. And I think that the best we can do to ourselves is that each and every person must know their status. Please know your status. Know your status. Voluntary counseling and testing is not scary. Just walk to a facility that you are sure they can keep your record. The other part is that there have been places where people have gone for their HIV test, and unfortunately, the workers there have foolishly, made it a public notice. Even though there's nothing wrong in letting people know your HIV status, we've not built good capacity to keep the record, especially in our workplaces. Human resource directors, let's take TV Africa for example. If they get to know today that Lebanon is positive, Council Edward is positive, how are they going to accept you?
The
People
stigma
begin to stigmatize you. They don't understand the concept. We need to go back with education of people understanding how to live with people with HIV AIDS. As we speak now, the antiretroviral drug has gotten to a level of close to 98%. Formerly when we started, it was below. So now people take the antiretroviral drug. When you take it correctly, you can have sexual intercourse, and your infection rate is down, so you can infect the next person.
And it's free.
The other part is that you can be pregnant and be positive, and we can save the life of your
child.
baby. PMTC, transmission from mother to child, is easily secure. So a pregnant woman or an HIV positive woman can still have a child. And the man will not be infected. The baby will not be infected. The only important thing is to go for the testing early. So we early detection, knowing that you are positive. So right now, it's not a must, but it's part of the routine that you go to the hospital and you are asked to do your HIV status.
Right. Counselor, how many times should you check in a year?
You can check every second in your life. It's dangerous to check every second. I mean, when it comes to voluntary counseling and testing, for example, when COVID came, most of us were doing the test because at a point in time we felt exposed. So you can decide to do your in-check and out-check. What is in-check? As the year is coming to an end, you want to know your status before you enter 2023. So we call it in-check from January and out-check in December. So what I brought, but I encourage people to do it quarterly, especially if you are sexually active. That's one. If you are exposed to blood-oriented event. I saw an accident at Abeka Junction when a motor rider fell and people rushed there. Nobody covered their hands.
No gloves.
Nobody did it. It happened at Marriott Hotel, where that insane alleged wife slashed the face of a baby mama, and the people at the hotel wanted to help the lady. Nobody wore gloves, and they were holding the lady to safety. So there are times that unconsciously in our hospitality management, when trying to bring life back in an accident, we expose ourselves. And for that matter, you should be able to go for the VCT testing, not with a timetable by force, by yourself. When you are exposed, go and check it and know your status. Remember, you can be negative today. And in the next 30 seconds, you can be positive. So we won't give you time to go and check. But you yourself, you know the way you're doing. Makeup artists, people who work in the
hairdressers.
Hairdressers, those of you who do the trimming of the eyelash. All of a sudden, we are losing our consciousness of being careful of whatever sharp object the person is using. They finish trimming your eyelash. You don't see blood, but there are times that when they rub the alcohol, you feel some sensation. Are you careful with whatever they are using? We are not saying they're using the same blade. The transmission is blood related. Let's be there. People think kissing give. No and yes. If you have a bleeding gum kissing, meeting a bleeding gum, you can be HIV positive. Today is World AIDS Day. And before you ask me to pull a break so that you go and take your break and come back, go and know your status.
Right.
I know my status. And I want you to be proud of knowing your status as well. Go and check your HIV status.
Right. Please get tested if you haven't. Let's take a break here. There's more when we return.
All right. So as we wait for more, those of you on the page watching us, it is, I know most of you have brought complaints to me that after trying to go and do your check on your own status, the information didn't go well. Yeah, there's a hospital that when people go and do the test, the lab technician goes back to go and tell people the status of the client that came. And so it becomes a big problem. The same way there are churches that they don't have professional counselors in their church facility. Because as a matter of fact, getting an HIV report is not a pastoral, editorial policy. That's one. People can choose to do the test or not. There's no law in this country that bans any church or any pastor from not marrying a lady or a gentleman who have an intent to marry under the civil law. There's no law in this country that bans them, that because they are HIV positive, the church should not bless their marriage.
Right.
No, there's no law like that. Do you understand? But on the humanitarian phase, where most of us want to have a clean sheet, and I call it clean sheet before we enter the union. If Lebene is positive and I am coming into the relationship, or if I am positive, HIV positive, and I'm walking into the relationship, there's an expectation for me to be fair to myself and to you. Because when you know your status, you live longer. No, people don't know. Because you see, the first reaction is to know you are positive. There's fear and panic. Why? Because our first form of advert, www, we know those sort of billboards instill some level of fear in us when it comes to HIV. So we stigmatize people, we draw people out of our offices, we broke up with people who were positive around us and whatever. Even Steve Jujo Mensah. The story has become a big story. Is she truly an HIV person or not? There's a new advert of a woman who is testifying I think on TV, one of the TV stations. I watch one of the TV stations during this football time. She's testifying that she was positive. She has delivered. The baby is safe. She is safe. And her face was put out there. Yes, it doesn't make any... There are people who are positive and they don't tell you because of the drug. Those days when people
are living a healthy, normal life.
If I tell you some of the clients that we have, I met a guy at the University of Ghana campus in my HIV time. And I went with one lady who was positive, but she's faithfully on the antiretroviral drug. And while she was among the people, when a man sees buttocks and sees breast, the world has come to an end, because that is what God used to curse a man to become gymnastic in the Garden of Eden. So the guys they saw this lady whose chalet, the dress, everything was okay. And everybody was going around. And I pushed her into the crowd on campus. And I told her I want to get data of how many guys who walked to her. Before I ended the show, it was a pharmacy, something, the 3D, I want to mention the 3D, pharmaceutical, blah, 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 and HIV and safety for sex, you know. And all of a sudden, within a small program, more than 18 guys crashed on her.
I see.
Then while the program was coming to an end, in my final stage, I said, I have a beautiful woman here who wants to encourage you that you can be positive and still live a positive life. And I clapped my hands and I invited Gifty. When Gifty climbed the podium, come and see guys who have crashed on a lady.
Right, so you're welcome back from the break. Counselor George Lutrot is still in the house. Let's do some trending issues, Counselor.
Yeah, but let me wrap up.
Right.
I didn't wrap up well before you went for the break. I mean, if I don't do anything at all, HIV is, we stop talking about it. I'm telling you, because our money got finished. We're doing the thing on donor funding. So when the money got finished, all of us went to relax. Me of all people, every 1st December, I have an activation on how to wear condom, whatever, I do it. But look at me today. I'm not doing anything. Not because of nothing, but there's no fund. There's no funding. So please, the old one we have done, we are reactivating it. Know your status. If you are going to marry and the church insists that, go and know your status, even though it's not by force, you as an individual know your status. Watch me. You are watching me right now on TV. Sincerely speaking, you are afraid of HIV AIDS. But the last time you had sexual intercourse with that girl, while the act was going on, remember what you did? Me dem impact condom no, and mommy for you. And then Jimmy Indiana. And the next thing was that the condom was full of Bobby Raw. Remember, if it's not on, it shouldn't be in. If it's not on,
it shouldn't be in.
Know your status, and that will reduce the fear. And those of you already positive, welcome to the world of the antiretroviral drug.
Right.
Don't stop and go for church prayers. Take your drug and still go for prayers. And those who have medicine to cure it, still follow the order and don't be weak in that end, because there are people who are living 20 plus years after diagnosing themselves. Right. Finally, if you know your status, you live longer than living without knowing your status. VCT is the answer.
Right.
Voluntary counseling and testing. All the government hospital is free. All the polyclinic is free. I don't know about the private, but go to any polyclinic, go to any government hospital and say, I want to know my HIV status. God bless you for knowing your status. And those of you who were positive some time ago, be on the drug, I repeat. Right. And you who got to know you were negative yesterday, remember,
stay alert.
You can be positive very soon. If it's not on,
it's not in.
It shouldn't be in.
Right.
But if you want it in, cover it. Go on, ladies and gentlemen. I am back.
Okay, so let's do some trending issues. Now, there's a UK, let me quickly read this. There's a UK Ghanaian singer, Stephanie Benson, who has advised women not to ditch their men anytime they are having a fight at home. According to her, women should endeavor to switch and channel their anger into offering some steamy, hot, and freaky sex to their men instead of staying upset about issues other than the ones related to cheating. This brings me to my question. I'll take your thought on that. But, Counselor, is there anything like anger sex?
Well, a good question. And let me say a cherished good morning to Stephanie Benson. That is the sister of Akosua Ejapon. Yeah, I mean, I like their life. They live a very healthy life. I mean, long like that. I mean, as old as they are. I think she's having 5 kids or so.
Yeah.
And Akosua Ejapon has also done 6 or 7 kids or so. You know, I mean, there have been a lot of issues about her. She's a survivor.
Right.
Stephanie Benson is a survivor of breast cancer. And has got a husband who has been very, very supportive. And she's out of Ghana. And that's why I think the support is solid. I'm not saying Ghanaian men are bad. But if your wife goes for amputation of the 2 breasts because of early detection, the environment will cause you to lose erection. You know what I'm talking about. Because the fact that we enya cancer ama ya twitwa ne nufu no hwe wanja ne ntema a wonsu benya bi cancer na ewo na ya ase ewo na num ento ware oba a wanya cancer ye nufu a na nufu ani oden na abedi rubber dey ye di ayedai. So that particular style of her, right, I have appreciated. She's very, very strong, and I see her family when she posts video. Right, she's one of the beacon of hope and excitement in their home. So when Stephanie comes to speak, and I think that for the number of years she has been in the industry, musical industry, and at the same time this marriage business, when she comes to say such things, we will say yes and then pick on it to educate. Maybe because we have not taken the trouble to educate. She might be speaking from a very, very, very important background of what she has practiced for some time and has worked for her. And having said that, I'm trying my best to come back and answer your question when things go on right in the system. I think anger. Anger. I think the last time before I traveled, we're treating issues on anger. Yes, and we didn't finish, and I took my body to the United States of America. As a matter of fact, let me say this as in passing. If you've not traveled to America before, going to heaven will be very difficult for you.
But why? Why do you say that?
My sister. My sister. Travel to every country in the world. If you've not been to America before, it will be difficult for you to go to heaven.
Oh, Counselor, why do you say that?
Where is Kokulumo? When was the last time you saw him?
I saw him, I think, early this week.
Okay. I've told Koku that if he lives the rest of his life in this country, he will grow shorter than he is now. And as a short man and an ewe, he has erected his function, it will increase.
I see.
Yeah, these ones you don't know. But Koku knows that I'm back to encourage him to make sure that he puts his foot in America. If he just enter the country and come back, like me, 2 weeks and come back. You know, I'm going to live a life that I'll go and swim and come back just because I want to go to heaven.
Right.
So if you want to go to heaven,
you should
go
visit
to America.
I see.
Anybody gives you visa to any country, it's a trial of you go and come. If you go to UK, look, if you go to UK, it's good. But there's no promising future in UK like in the US. It doesn't make the country bad though, but and I will come and answer. Definitely. Don't worry.
Right. So you're welcome back from that short break. Councillor Lutrot is still in the house and we're talking some trending issues.
Yeah, so you have a question and let me just double it up quickly for you and for that abrupt break. I mean, equipment, and we are ready to stand by it until our show is over. So you asked whether there's anything called anger sex. Thanks be to God, the question has come at the right time because the Orgasm Conference is coming up this year, 2022. Orgasm Conference, the Sexier Together is happening on the 25th day of December.
Get ready. Christmas Day.
Oh, yes. The show everybody knows. My show is always Boxing Day, Christmas Day. It's an adult program. So when you finish everything at home, come and finish it there and then go and practicalize it in your life. So anger, if there's anything called sex anger, well, it could be a term that people have used, but there's nothing called anger sex. In the first place, anger itself causes man not to have full consciousness of yourself. And sexual intercourse needs the total body of yourself. So anytime people feel excited doing sexual intercourse in anger, it means that they have a deficiency. So when I'm angry, I feel him more. So like Stephanie is saying that when you are angry, allow your man to have sexual intercourse with you. It's a deficiency. It's a deficiency because there are people that they were molested when they were young, not raped, molested, and they've associated orgasm to molestation. So there are people that they want you to hit them, bite them, squeeze their back, hold their breast hard as if you are squeezing and doing breast examination, and hold their hair and pull it. I mean, abuse them during sexual intercourse, and they associate it to narcissistic sex. It's wrong. Sexual intercourse is supposed to be pleasurable. You're supposed to bang sensibly. So when you are angry, how do you have proper way of having sex? So there's nothing called anger sex.
I see. But is there anything like temperament when it comes to love making?
Yes, every normal human being flows within the five-fold temperament. And in the five-fold temperament, there's what we call the inclusion. We have the control and we have the affection. The affection is your love, your love making, your intimate love making in terms of temperament. So people can be melancholy, sanguine, phlegmatic, which means that in inclusion, surface relationship, they are sanguine. Control, they are melancholy. And in affection, when it comes to their significant others, they are phlegmatics. And one day I'm going to treat that as part of our package this year. But before we by next week, I'll bring those topics and let you understand those. Because your temperament plays a major role in your sex activity. Especially when somebody is sanguine in inclusion and he's melancholy in affection. So if you carry a sanguine nature into sex, there is a level of shyness. He's open. He's saying everything like that. But when it comes to bedroom, he's asking,
he's shy.
You close the window? I mean, let's put off the light. And they don't want you to see their nakedness. They don't even want you to put their hand closer to any woman who you are taking your hand closer to their private part. They don't want. Majority of them are melancholies. And most airways are melancholies. So you see, sorry, Lebede. Sorry, an airway. But you see, temperamentally, I've treated this here before one time, but we'll repeat it again. I realize that every topic we've treated, we can go over and over again because somebody didn't know. So it's true, your temperament can be that. But remember that temper and temperament are not the same. We are mistaking temper When people have temper, yes, they are men. Look, it's painful when you are ready to have sexual intercourse with your significant other, and they tell you that I'm not ready. It makes you so angry. I don't think I can have erection to have sexual intercourse with somebody. I feel you have bruises. I feel you have what? So there's nothing called anger sex. But I think that where Stephanie is coming from reading the story is that when you are angry or you are upset, don't bring sexual barrier between the two of you. Don't allow anything to stop you from not enjoying good sexual intercourse. If that is the anger she's coming from, I agree. However, don't use sex to settle